If you're the kind of cook who puts some heavy mileage on your blender making lots of smoothies, nut butters, and soups, you probably know you need to invest in a good, sturdy blender, or you're going to be buying a new one every few months. Now, lately, we've noticed there's a new crop of high-end blenders out there that promise the moon at prices upwards of $700. Are any of them worth it? To find out, we bought these 5 blenders, priced from about $400 to just under $700. And we included our old favorite, which is the Vitamix 5200. That's been our top choice here at America's Test Kitchen for many years. Now at $449, the Vitamix 5200, it's an investment. It costs more than twice as much as our favorite mid-price blender. Now, this is a restaurant model, very stripped down. There are just 3 features on its control panel: an on-off switch, a speed dial, and a switch that accesses a second level of power. Now, we like it because it pulverizes anything you put in it, and it comes with a comforting 7-year warranty. But these days, even Vitamix has put out a sleeker, newer model with upgraded features, and so have other manufacturers. In our new lineup, we found one that has an LCD touchscreen and a cavitation warning feature that tells you when an air pocket forms above the blades that prevents blending. Another one has an insulated thermal control jar to keep hot blends hotter. All of them have preset program buttons that let you walk away while it makes you a smoothie or crush ice and then turn itself off. Some of them have self-cleaning programs too. So we got to work testing them on their basic abilities as well as their special bells and whistles. We crushed ice and made smoothies, hummus, mayonnaise, and almond butter in every machine. We rated them on how simple it was to attach and detach the pitcher and lid, and how easy it was to move the blender around. We measured their speed, and we compared the wattage of each motor to its performance. And we rated each model on how logical and intuitive its controls were, and how easy it was to use and clean, and how loud it was using a decibel meter. I'm here to tell you that most of the fancy new features are not worth it. That LCD touchscreen, it wasn't responsive enough, especially when we wanted to adjust the speed. This blender was also the one that featured the cavitation warning. Totally unnecessary. When an air pocket forms above the blades, like when they're blending thicker foods like hummus or almond butter, you don't need the machine to give you a little message that it's not blending properly. You can hear it. The blades start going a little faster, they sound more high-pitched. It's not rocket science. You just poke the food down into the air bubble using the tamper that most models provide, and that gets things moving again. Now, preset buttons sound great, and all the new models had them. The most common ones were for smoothies, crushed ice, cleaning, frozen desserts, hot soup, and juicing. But most of these functions, like crushing ice or making a smoothie, take less than a minute. So that luxury of being able to walk away is pretty overrated. And self-cleaning, all that is a high-speed button that whooshes hot soapy water around inside. You still have to add the hot water and soap, and you still have to clean the top of the jar and the lid where the water doesn't quite reach. Now, none of the machines had heating or cooling elements, so frozen desserts and hot soup mostly fell short. In fact, only one model succeeded at heating soup. And that blender with the thermal jar, that didn't keep the soup any hotter than the other ones. Despite their claims, these blenders can't actually replace a real ice cream maker or a juice extractor. So basically, the new preset buttons left us unimpressed, especially when you consider that they can add $100 to $200 to the price of the blender. So next we looked at power. These blenders range from 1,380 to 2,800 watts in power, compared to 750 watts in our favorite mid-price blender. The most powerful blender, the Blendtec Designer 725, it couldn't make mayonnaise because even its lowest speeds were too fast to combine the eggs and oil at the slow and steady rate you need for emulsification. The least powerful model was our old Vitamix 5200. But being the least powerful didn't really matter. When we made smoothies with fresh kale, frozen pineapple chunks, and orange juice, we noticed that while the Vitamix 5200 left larger flecks of kale than other blenders, we couldn't feel those particles when we sipped the smoothies, and the smoothies had a better texture overall. They were velvety and creamy. Other blenders made smoothies that were foamy and aerated, and we saw that same foaminess with other liquids like soup. Now, as it turned out, jar shape mattered more than power. The Vitamix 5200 has a taller, narrower jar. The others are all shorter and wider, and this makes a difference. Because as the blades turn, they spin the food into a vortex, which looks like a small tornado. When the jar is wider and shorter, that vortex becomes more chaotic and the food ricochets off the walls and lid, like a fire hose is loose inside. It's no wonder those blends were more aerated. That taller, narrower jar on the Vitamix 5200 keeps the food more contained toward the bottom, where it doesn't incorporate extra air. There is one downside to the tall, narrow jar. It doesn't actually fit under a standard kitchen cabinet, and it's a little harder to scrape out. But we didn't mind that when we tasted the results. Ultimately, we recommended 3 of the 4 new models, but none of them topped our old winner. The Vitamix 5200 is still the best high-end blender for the money. We love its no-frills controls and its top-of-the-line performance. It handled every kind of food and drink we wanted to blend. It's also the quietest model we tested, and it remains our favorite. But if hands-off blending or under-cabinet storage are a priority for you, our runner-up, the Vitamix Professional Series 750 for $575, is another good choice.